WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Cash Matlock. A person is missing after jumping off of a bridge into a swimming hole in Monroe County last night. Sheriff Kevin Crook says 2 girls jumped off of a bridge on Highway 373 north of the Columbus Air Force Base. Only one of the girls came back up. Deputies were called to the scene around 3:30 a.m. The situation is being treated as a missing persons case, but it could soon change to a drowning investigation. Crook says both the Monroe County Sheriff's Department and the Lowndes County Sheriff's Department are working on the case. Well, an attempted shoplifting arrest turns into a high-speed chase in Tupelo this afternoon. Tupelo police officer had to be taken to North Mississippi Medical Center after trying to arrest a suspected shoplifter. Witnesses said an officer attempted to arrest a female shoplifting suspect when she left the store and got into a vehicle. An unidentified driver started to drive away with the suspect in the vehicle, and the TPD officer was dragged a short distance. Now, the incident happened in the parking lot of Belk at Barnes Crossing Mall. From there, officers caught up with the driver and 2 unidentified passengers on I-22 near New Albany. The pursuit reached speeds of more than 100 miles per hour, but was eventually called off due to speeds becoming too dangerous to continue. And the suspect made it across state lines into Tennessee. The TPD officer was examined and released from the ER with minor injuries. Anyone with any information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. Well, a man is injured after an early morning shooting in Tupelo. Tupelo police say the shots fired call came in around 9:30 this morning. Officers responded to the scene at the intersection of South Gloucester and Highway 6. An adult male was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Witnesses tell WCBI a man leaned out of a car window and shot into the victim's car and then sped off. Detectives say they are in the early stages of the investigation, and anyone with any information is asked to contact TPD or Crime Stoppers of Northeast Mississippi. Well, sources tell WCBI Tupelo police are also investigating a second shooting in the All-American City over the weekend. They say the incident happened at the Alibaba store on North Green Street Saturday. We're going to have more information on this incident as it becomes available. Breaking news tonight, a body is found at a home in Houston earlier today. Chickasaw County Sheriff James Meyer says the body was found in a house on Mill Drive. Investigators believe the body has been there for several days. The body will be sent to Jackson for an autopsy. Meyer says the Sheriff's Department will be assisting Coroner Michael Fowler in the investigation.
Some pretty heavy showers and storms across portions of North Mississippi and West Alabama today. Take a look at some of these rainfall totals. Over an inch of rain in Hamilton, Alabama today. Over a half an inch in Tupelo. Here in the Golden Triangle, slightly lower amounts, anywhere from about 2/10 of an inch to 3/10 of an inch. But still, just about everybody getting in on some good rainfall earlier today. The rainfall has exited the area, except for one little shower over there west of I-55. Likely not going to be an issue for us. I think most of us stay dry tonight. 70 for the low, mild and muggy with just a few high clouds passing through. Tomorrow, again, mostly dry aside from a rogue sprinkle or two through the afternoon. That allows temperatures to rise into the low and mid-90s. Heat index values closer to 100, and the temperatures go up through the week. I've got more details on exactly how hot it will be coming up in just a little bit.
Tupelo City Hall will close Monday, July 13th after an employee tests positive for COVID-19. In a press release earlier today, Mayor Jason Shelton announced plans for City Hall to be professionally cleaned and sanitized. Shelton says every employee, including himself, will be tested for the virus. The employee who tested positive is a member of the finance department and did not routinely interact with members of the public who came to City Hall for permits, applications, or other regular city business. Well, the Mississippi State Department of Health reports 868 new cases of COVID-19 with 19 new deaths. There are currently 106 active outbreaks among long-term care facilities. The total number of cases in Mississippi since March 11th is now more than 36,000 with more than 1,200 deaths. Well, more than 22,000 people are presumed to have recovered from the virus. The coronavirus has killed at least 135,000 people in the U.S. The confirmed number of cases since the pandemic hit about 4 months ago is approaching 3.3 million, and Florida, one of the nation's new Sunbelt hotspots, has broken a single-day record for new cases. CBS News correspondent Tom Hansen reports from New York.
Florida shattered a nationwide record for the number of new coronavirus cases in one day. More than 15,000 were confirmed Saturday, almost 4,000 more than the state's record last week.
Look, I think things are going to get worse before they get better.
Former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb says there are indications the Sunbelt's current surge will peak in the next 2 or 3 weeks, but calls an extended plateau of cases likely.
Our recommendations have changed. Okay. Now, people of America, important to know you should wear a face covering.
As governors across the country mandate wearing masks in public, U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams defended guidance he and federal health officials gave earlier in the pandemic against face coverings.
It's important for people to understand that once upon a time we prescribed cigarettes for asthmatics and leeches and cocaine and heroin for people as medical treatments. When we learn better, we do better.
Florida, Texas, Arizona, and California combined have close to 1 million confirmed cases. The Trump administration continues to push for schools to reopen in the fall.
Fully operational and fully functioning means that kids can be back there. And for families that need their kids in school in person 5 days a week, that has to be an option.
But some parents and educators are concerned.
It's a little worrisome because we're unaware of the school, the environment, and we want to make sure that he's safe.
How do you do 6 feet social distancing? How do you do that in passing periods where you have kids going to different classrooms?
Last week, New York City announced plans to have its more than 1 million students in the classroom only 1 to 3 days a week. Tom Hansen, CBS News, New York.
Until now, New York held the previous one-day record of more than 12,000 confirmed cases set in April, when it was the nation's hardest hit state. Well, restaurants all over the country have had to close their doors due to safety concerns surrounding coronavirus. Not being able to welcome people in forced many to adapt just to keep the lights on and keep their staff employed. Our Savannah Gato talks with some area restaurant owners about the lessons they've learned.
For months, diners weren't able to head into their favorite restaurants to enjoy a meal, so restaurant owners have had to get creative. Table service has given way to curbside service.
Curbside is helping us because if we wouldn't have curbside, we probably wouldn't have really anybody coming in. And it helps that we can actually bring food to our customers or bring, we also do casseroles and stuff. We can bring that stuff out to their car and they don't have to come in. So that way everybody can stay safe and try to stay protected as best as they can.
Jeff Powell of Cafe on Main says it's been benefiting his crew and his customers.
It's definitely helped us out. I mean, it's probably about half of our orders are to-goes, curbside, so definitely it's helping us out.
And they've streamlined the process.
So the customer would just pull in right in front of the restaurant, and we have a sign out that's dedicated for the curbside. Basically, you just call the restaurant when you arrive, and then we'll bring it out to the car.
This is a time now where the best way to help is to support local.
Just kind of bear with us through this time, and then now it's more important than ever to support your local businesses, not just restaurants, but the whole array of businesses are really struggling right now. As much as you can do curbside and in any type of business, the better, because everybody really needs the support right now.
Please just keep supporting your locals.
Local restaurants recommend that if you do dine in, please follow all the guidelines and sanitation rules.
When we come back, Trevor is going to shed some light on a few weather myths. A brand new Weatherwise is after the break. Stay with us.
Watching WCBI News at 10 p.m. with Cash Matlock.
Welcome back, everyone. The pandemic is also reshaping the presidential race. New CBS News polling released today from 3 hotspot states, Arizona, Florida, and Texas, finds the majority of voters believe that things in America are going badly. In those same states, more than 50% of voters say that the president's handling of coronavirus is also bad. This as the Trump administration today renewed its push to reopen schools. Nicole Killian has the latest from the White House.
President Trump returned to his Virginia golf course this weekend as coronavirus cases in the U.S. shatter records.
In 2, 3, 4 weeks, by the time we next speak, I think we're going to be in very good shape.
The president and Education Secretary Betsy DeVos say schools should reopen this fall amid mounting concerns over safety.
The rule should be that kids go back to school this fall.
The Centers for Disease Control is expected to issue new guidelines for schools this week.
Should they follow CDC guidelines? On my team, the CDC guidelines are just that, meant to be flexible.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
What we heard from the secretary was malfeasance and dereliction of duty.
Saturday, the president wore a mask for the first time in public during a visit to Walter Reed Medical Center. The Surgeon General donned his own white mask on Face the Nation.
We follow the science, and when we learn more, our recommendations change.
The mask messaging comes amid an emerging divide between the coronavirus task force and Dr. Anthony Fauci, who at times has publicly disagreed with the president. A senior administration official tells CBS News members are frustrated with Dr. Fauci and feel he has become a source of controversy, though his role does not appear to be in jeopardy.
I respect Dr. Fauci a lot, but Dr. Fauci is not 100% right, and he also doesn't necessarily, and he admits that, have the whole national interest in mind.
Meantime, the president is also facing fallout over his decision to commute the sentence this weekend of longtime political ally Roger Stone.
I think anyone who cares about the rule of law in this country is nauseated.
In a sharply worded Washington Post op-ed, former special counsel Robert Mueller defended the Russia investigation, writing, "Roger Stone remains a convicted felon, and rightly so." Republican Senator Lindsey Graham tweeted, "Democrats' request for Mueller to testify will be granted." Senator Graham tells CBS News he has a lot of questions for Mueller, while the White House says Mueller wasted taxpayer dollars with his investigation. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
Well, have you ever heard that tornadoes can't hit big cities? What about that storms go around hills and lakes? On this week's Weatherwise, meteorologist Trevor Burchett puts some of these weather urban legends to the test.
Now, if you're like me and grew up in the South, you probably heard all kinds of folklore about the weather. Have you ever heard the reason why it rains while the sun is shining? Well, I can't really put that to the test, but let's take a look at some other weather myths that you've probably heard. One common bit of folklore is that tornadoes can't hit big cities. So if you live in a city, you're safe. This could not be farther from the truth. Just in the last 20 years, tornadoes have hit several major metropolitan cities, including Nashville, Atlanta, Oklahoma City, Memphis, Birmingham. I could go on, but you get the point. It's false. Tornadoes don't know what they're hitting. It's all totally random. Kind of on the same page, people sometimes think that rivers and mountains can disrupt storms and tornadoes. Now, while occasionally storms do dissipate as soon as they cross the river, it's more of just a coincidence. There's no scientific evidence to back it up. A river that is 1/4 of a mile wide won't do anything to affect a storm that's tens of thousands of feet tall. Another completely false myth. And lastly, this one makes my head hurt. Somehow a rumor started that if you open up your windows before a tornado hits, your home won't implode from the pressure. Let me save you the trouble. Don't waste your time. If a tornado is approaching, seek shelter immediately. Don't waste time opening doors and windows. If a tornado does hit, the doors and windows are likely to be blown out anyway. So that's it. 3 false myths. Now, I'd love to do another one of these segments on myths and maybe hear a few that I can prove to be true. So let me know what urban legends you've heard about the weather. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and at our email address, weather@wcbi.com. For now, I'm meteorologist Trevor Burchett.
Weatherwise is brought to you by 4 County Electric Power Association. Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Trevor Burchett.
Well, the weekend is coming to an end and we're kicking off another work week. This one's going to be a little different than what we saw last week. We had several rounds of showers and storms last week. That's really not going to be the case this week. We're mostly going to be high and dry. That allows temperatures to warm up even higher than they have been. Humidity is also going to increase. That means heat index values possibly as high as 110 by the end of the week. So you got to find a place to stay cool here if you plan to be outside over the next several days. Rain chances, as I mentioned, generally minimal, especially for tomorrow and Tuesday. Maybe some more scattered showers and storms Wednesday and Thursday before we go back to a generally dry pattern. But don't bet on seeing any rain here for the next several days. It is possible, but most of us are going to stay high and dry. That was not the case today, though. Some showers and storms actually causing some damage up in Monroe County. Take a look at this photo sent in to us on Facebook. That's actually a pretty sizable tree that fell down, and if you look closely enough, it actually fell on the power line. So that created some power outage issues in Monroe County. Also here in Lowndes County, up near Caledonia and the Air Force Base, dealing with some power outages through the afternoon today. The good news is that storm system has moved out of our area. It's now down actually in the Gulf of Mexico. down south of Mobile and Pensacola. That cold front, it came through, but it's really not doing much for us. It did help to move the cloud cover out of here, and it has moved most of the shower activity out, except for one little shower we've been tracking west of I-55. I think most of us will stay dry. The big weather pattern that we're going to be talking about over the next several days, though, is this high pressure system. It is off to the west in Arizona and southern New Mexico right now. It is going to slowly make its way into the southern plains of the U.S. over Texas in the next several days. And that's going to kind of create a ridge of high pressure over the eastern U.S. And when we see a ridge, that means very hot temperatures and generally dry, as long as that high pressure is somewhere nearby. We are dry out there right now. Take a look at the Alpha Insurance Camera Network. We're 78 degrees in Columbus, 79 in Tupelo, 75 in Vernon, 76 in Louisville. You can't really see. It's dark outside, but we are mostly clear. Just a few stars popping out in the night sky. We'll leave in the chance of a very isolated shower. As I mentioned, Joe, though, generally most of us are going to stay dry. Temperatures getting down to right around 70, staying pretty mild and muggy with a variable light wind overnight tonight. 93 tomorrow, very hot once again, mostly sunny, just a few high clouds. We're going to keep in a 20% chance of a shower. Most of us will not see anything in the way of rain tomorrow. The good news is our humidity for the next couple of days is going to be just the slightest bit lower. You're going to notice it's not as humid as it's been, and that's going to be the case for Monday and Tuesday. So it's going to be hot. It's still going to be humid, just not as humid. As we get toward the middle and end of the week, we really start to ramp up the humidity well into the muggy category by the end of the week. That allows the heat index values to rise. So tomorrow, Tuesday, mostly sunny. Heat index values approaching 105 at times. After that, even hotter. Heat index values closer to 110 through the middle and end of the week. As I mentioned, maybe some showers and storms on Wednesday and Thursday. Not everybody going to see rain this week. Highs staying in the mid to possibly upper 90s. Overnight lows in the low to mid 70s. Overall mild, muggy, and mostly dry. We're back with more news after this. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
Welcome back in, everyone. Social distancing has forced a lot of people to get creative when it comes to spending time with friends and family. Today on Mom to Mom, a fun way to send some love without getting too close. Take a look.
Today on Mom to Mom, we're going to show you this fun DIY project that you can send a family member that's far, far away. Today we are going to mail a hug. This is like the perfect way to send something to a family member that's far, far away, to let them know that you love them and you care about them, and it just tells them a little bit about your child. We love to see those little handprints, how big they were in that moment of time. Here are the things you're gonna need: one sheet of felt, ribbon, scissors, and a hot glue gun. So all you have to do is measure their little hands on some felt. Then we're going to cut those hands out, and then all we do is take the ribbon that we have, and you're going to measure the length of their arm width. So you're going to have the kids hold their arms wide open, then you're going to take the ribbon and measure from palm to palm. Once you have that ribbon this exact size, you're going to attach it to the little hands that you cut with some hot glue. Now you can decorate these cute little hands however you would like. I like to put the names on them. Maybe you could put their age or the year. It's however you want to do it. Personalize it, write a little note, and then send it off to that family member. So as you can see, this is an actual hug. It is the size of your child, and you know, you can wrap it around you. That's a hug that they're giving you. And as always, moms, if you have any great ideas, we would love to hear them, and you might see it on the next Mom to Mom.
Chris Bolton joins us with sports after the break. Stop number 21 on the high school football tour is next. Don't go anywhere.
WCBI Sports with Chris Bolton. WCBI Sports 2020 High School Football Tour is brought to you by Itawamba Community College, Cannon Ford of Starkville, Monroe County Farm Bureau, Max South Broadband, and the Bank of Vernon.
New year, New head coach for the Hatley Tigers as they enter the 2020 season. Starting his tenure as head coach is Clint Adair. Being from Hatley, he couldn't be more excited for this opportunity.
I'm a Hatley guy. I mean, I went to Hatley. My family's from Hatley. I've been here. My mom and dad both worked at the school. So, I mean, it's in my blood. To be able to do it anywhere is a wonderful thing, but to be able to come back and do it at home, that just makes it even more special.
The Tigers are a young team that'll have several first-year starters as they lose 18 seniors from last season's team. However, Adair looks at this as an opportunity to get the young guys to buy into their culture.
That's one of the things that we're trying to hang our hat on is the younger group that we're bringing up. You know, we can kind of go ahead and get them established in the culture that we're trying to build here, and it'll just be, you know, that'll make them that much better in the future.
With the young squad, Adair and his staff look to put players in position to make plays and attack.
I'm an aggressive kind of guy. That's just the way I kind of coach. That's the schemes I like. So, I mean, I don't like to be dictated to. I want us to be the ones dictating what's happening out there. So, you know, we're going to be aggressive on offense, aggressive on defense, aggressive on special teams.
Very intense. I like what he's brought to the table here at Hatley, and I think we're going to be very successful.
Success doesn't come overnight. The Tigers understand that and are working day in and day out to improve upon last season's 4-8 record with the goal of another playoff appearance in mind.
We just got to work harder, and everyone has to be all in it.
They're showing up every day. The ones that are showing up every day, they're putting in a lot of work, and you can tell that they do have that drive to want to be better.
With this whole new coaching staff and everything, I mean, last year was a little bit different than this year. This year is going to be way more successful, I can tell right now, and we're going to be going to playoffs for sure.
Hatley hits the road to start the season against Hamilton August 21st. With the Tigers on the high school football tour, Chris Bolton, WCBI Sports.
WCBI Sports 2020 High School Football Tour with Hatley High School is brought to you by Cleveland Moffitt Funeral Home of Amory and Access School Health Services.
Hot, but not quite as humid here for the next several days, but we get the humidity back by the middle of the week. Highs in the upper 90s, heat index values closer to 110. Really minimal rain chances except for on Wednesday and Thursday.
All right, thanks, Trevor. Thank you guys for joining us, and from all of us here at WCBI News, good night.